Hey, what up, girl? How you doing?
And he makes a cast,
I don't want to come on too strong or nothing like that, but
sets the hook, and then there he is. Keeper number 7.
And I've been wondering where you lay up. Where you at? So, sure. Where do you go to? Where do you go? Where do you go to? I wanna know. How do you do it? That thing you do. Follow you blindly, I'll be your fool. Where do you go to? Where do you go? Where do you go to? I wanna know. How do you do it? That thing you do. Follow you blindly, I'll be your fool. Cinderella, I think I'll find your glass slipper, baby. Cinderella, I think you found your Prince Charming.
Okay, guys, welcome to another Monday night at Grubb Cast. Another hot, miserable day outside. So hopefully people are in, sitting and watching my show tonight. Had a really, really good views of last week. So was really, really impressed with the show. People watching last week. Hey, Steve, you mean the camera on that video, not the camera right now, right? Hey, Trish. Rocking your shirt tonight, Trish. I think Steve means center my camera. I think he's meaning on the video that I did. It was on the, okay. That's what I thought. But, okay, guys, let's do the sponsors real quick. Starting off with Fish Sticks Rods. Guys, I keep saying you can't beat the rods. Once you own one, you're going to buy another one. Get with me. I have got one I've got to get ordered for a guy. John McKee wants to order one. So, but and if there's a couple other that wants to order one, let me know and we can split the shipping instead of one person have to pay all the shipping. But get with me and we'll get some ordered. You won't be disappointed. I really put them to work this last weekend. So if you get, when you're ready to order one, get with me and we'll get one ordered. You'll be really pleased with it. Hook and Donkeys. Guys, get a hold of Mike. He's got a good selection already out there poured up, but if you want a special collar or something, he'll do that for you too. He does amazing things for me. I really, really, I'm pleased that I am involved with his outfit. It has really turned my fishing around this year. Sanborn Builders. You want a deck or something built? Get a hold of Sanborn, some painting. They're the ones for you to get a hold of. Ace Hardware, like I always say, you can get anything at Ace Hardware, from plumbing to electrical to Blue Rock bait and tackle. You want to get some Blue Rock bait and tackle, go down there. If you want to get a bang bang stick, they got the cabin down there that's got bang bang sticks in. So I got to watch what I say here on Facebook, or they'll end up having me throw it off from here. So Hobbs Roofing, anybody up around in Akron area and stuff needs some roofing done, get a hold of Hobbs Roofing. He comes down and does all of our work at the mall, but he does wonderful jobs. He's mainly on flat roofs, but he'll do probably anything. Pizza Stop out in Albany. Go out there and get you. I almost got me a chef salad, but I ended up putting me a pot pie in the oven tonight. So this one's a 60-minute one, so I've got plenty of time to ramble on tonight. I won't go that long, though. I guarantee you that. Of course, the trivia question I got tonight might stump some people. And Southern Ohio Sanitation. If you're having this time of year, your family reunions and stuff like that, you need some porta johns, get a hold of Josh at Southern Ohio Sanitation. He'll set you up. And then last but not least, Williamson Son Construction. Guys, Ron has really been wonderful to help me out and do things for me that's just unbelievable, and our club. So if you need some construction work done, he's pretty busy, but get a hold of Ron and see what you can get done. So, but there's the sponsors. Hey, Rusty, you should be down on the river getting them trout lines in. Let's go ahead and get, let's show what we're going to give away tonight for the trivia question. It is the 3.5-inch crawl brown. And here's what it looks like out of the package. It's like a speed crawler. I tell you what, guys, I like putting these on a buzz bait, throwing them on a buzz bait. They really do a good job on a buzz bait with no skirt on it. So that'll be the trivia question here in a little bit. It's the 3.5-inch crawl brown. Okay, let's get started with the tournaments. Last week on Monday night, and again, guys, I'm sorry butchering these names. Some of these names I can't. It makes it tough. But last call last Monday night was at Dow Lake. First place was Otto and Byron with 3.39. And second place was John Bircher, John Bircher, and George Kane. And they had Big Bass with 205, and they had second place with 295. So that was the tournament at last call last Monday night. Wednesday night, George forgot to send me Tuesday night. I might start getting on him. Wednesday night at Lake Snowden. This is a good one here, guys. Wednesday night at Lake Snowden. We have a high school tournament coming up this weekend at Lake Erie, and I told the two boys that never fished together. I said, you guys get together and fish Wednesday night at Lake Snowden and get to know each other and get familiar with fishing with each other. And if they didn't go out there and they won the tournament, Jordan Mount and Vince Garisco, they won it with Big Bass at 1.69, and they had 4.97 in their 3 fish. So they had a good sack of fish. And neither one of these kids Jordan's 16, and I think Vince is just 15 and a half. I don't think Vince is driving yet. So I'm looking forward to this weekend with them up to Lake Erie, see how they do. I'm excited for it. I'm not going to be able to take them out. Josh is going to take them out, and I'll be helping do the tournament for the weigh-in and stuff. So Sunday, last call was at Fork and Run. I do believe that's where it's at. I didn't write it down, but I'm sure it's Fork and Run. First place was Chase and Phil Hostel with 3.66. Second place was Clint and Dustin. They had Big Bass at 265, and their total weight was 332. So that was last call on Sunday. Last calls at Lake, or down at the river tonight, so down at Coolville. Sunday, Athens County Bassmasters had a club tournament at Lake Rupert. First place was John McKenzie with 5.14 and Big Bass at 3.46. Second place was Charlie Grubbs with 4.56. And third place was Gary Barnhouse with 3.32. So they had some good fish. I fished half a day, and I don't ever do it, but I only had 4 wee little fish, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go home. I had a long weekend up to Lake Erie, drove back in Saturday night to fish Sunday, and I was like, I'm gonna go home and relax and rest. So I ended up throwing the fish back and come home at noon. So that was the tournaments I had for the weekend. Besides, I'll touch a little bit on the BFL up at Lake Erie. Hey, Tracy, I ended up doing a pot pie, but this one's Marie Calendar, 60 minutes. So I got a little time tonight. But yeah, the BFL Lake Erie. Guys, I went up there to play safe. My points, I was in 59th place in overall points, and the top 45 goes to the regional at Kerr Lake in North Carolina. And I was 59th. And I kept telling myself, if I could just get 12 to 14 pounds, I'd be safe and get some decent points and just make it. I'm relying on Indian Lake, or that's what I was relying on, the Super 2. But I went up there. Actually, at Lake Snowden Wednesday night, I was telling Travis Six and Billy Gould that I was going back up there, and they said, hey, here's a spot. Let me drop a pin for you. Here's a spot. Go check it out. Told me the bait to use, and I went there on Friday. I checked it out, caught one keeper and lost another keeper. And then Kevin Wells had told me of a spot that he knew of. So I thought, well, I'll run over right in the same area. I said, well, I'll run over the check that out. I went over there and I caught a real nice keeper there. Real nice keeper. And then I run around the rest of the bay, the rest of the day. And I had a fish here and I had a fish there. I had one spot that I like real well that I go into. Steve Calder turned me onto it a year or two ago. I had a keeper in there. I thought, well, and then I come out and I caught one on the outside of it. I thought, man, this might be a good starting spot. And we sitting at the campground Friday evening, and the boat numbers come out, and I was boat 34. And as soon as I heard I was boat 34, I immediately was like, I can get to the community spot and get around there and come into it. And the current, there's going to be some wind. I can get there and I can catch some fish before other boats get there. And all evening I had that in my head. And actually it was Mike Swearinger texted me and he said, yeah, good luck tomorrow and just go with your gut. And I was actually laying in the truck and I thought, you know what? Then I thought, well, I'll just make a decision in the morning. So Monday or Saturday morning, I woke up, I got to the ramp. The wind was not blowing as much as I thought it was going to be. And I thought, you know what? You come up here on Friday and practice, and then you're going to throw all that away and go down to the place where you went last weekend and had boats on top of you, and it just didn't pan out. I'm like, I'm going with my gut and go back where I was at to start with and where I practiced, where I caught these fish. So the first stop I pulled into, wasn't nobody there. And guys, by 7:30, I had 4 keepers in the boat, and my co-angler had 1 keeper in the boat. So we caught 5 keepers off that first stop. And that was the one that Travis and Billy had told me about. And I went over and I hit another spot that was right there close, where I'd caught some short fish the day before, but nothing. I didn't spend a lot of time there. And I'm like, well, go to where Kevin told you, where the bigger fish was. And I went around and run into it. And my caught another nice fish there. And then I actually ended up catching my 5th keeper there. That was a good fish. And we fished on down through there. And then I was like, okay, we'll run to that 3rd spot. I run over there and I I caught a keeper there, but it didn't help me none. And then I ended up I caught 2 keepers in there because I did catch one that called out one. And then I run to a spot that I always go to all the time because I was like, well, my co's got 2. If I could put him on a third or fourth, 3 more fish, then he'd have a chance on his side. I felt I had 11 pounds, so I felt I was pretty close to being safe. So I run down to this other spot, and I actually give my co the bait that I was using, and he caught 3 or 4 short fish, and I caught another keeper there, or 2 keepers there. And I'm like, man, I want to get you a fish, or I wanted to get him 3 more fish, but I knew if he got at least 1 or 2 more fish, he'd be pretty good shape as a co. So we run around the 2 other spots that I knew would produce fish, and he couldn't catch. He couldn't get one. He'd catch short fish, short fish, short fish. I didn't catch any more keepers after I left that last spot. But he had a good time. This is his first year fishing the VFLs. I ended up weighing in 12.9 is what I had total weight. Put me in 34th place. And I ended up being overall points now. I'm 45th. So I am the cut man for the regionals right now. So technically, if I go to Indian Lake and get in the top 45 at Indian Lake, I'll be safe for the regionals. So I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna give it my all. I'm gonna fish safe to stay in the regional, but I'm also gonna fish for a check at Indian. I got enough confidence up there. I think I can find a couple fish up there to help me. I'm pretty sure I can get 5. I'm just going to try to get that kicker. If I can get the kicker, I'll be in good shape. I'm going to go up, spend the weekend before, do some looking around and stuff before the tournament. So, overall, the BFL at Lake Erie turned out to be really, really successful for me. I moved up, like I said, 14 places, and I'm in the regional right now. And I don't care if I'm 10th place in the points or 45th place, as long as I make it in the regional. And that tournament will be in October at North Carolina at Kerr Lake. So, I'm excited to try to get down there and do something. But also, Dean Hill, I can't see his comments half the time. He said he'd be watching tonight. He wanted to know last week at the state championship how many smallmouth and how many largemouth was weighed in. We keep track at them tournaments. Let's see here. I got something. Probably Dean messaged me on Facebook now. But at last weekend at the state championship, we had 69 smallmouth in 2 days weighed in. That's all we had. We had 69 smallmouth weighed in at the state championship last weekend. We had 673 largemouth weighed in for a total of 742 fish. So guys, and that proves it right there. These guys, and the guy that won this last weekend to BFL, he had 25 pounds. And then there was a couple 20 pounds, but it dropped down to 16, 17 pounds real quick. And this right here shows you the smallmouth ain't up there like everybody thinks you're going to go catch 20 and 30 pounds. They ain't there. It ain't going to happen. Not in the summer. Now in the spring when they're spawning, yeah, you can go get a sack. But in this fall, it could be interesting. But there's some good largemouth to be caught up there in the fall too. Also, too, I just remembered something, guys. I had somewhere here. Must be back here on this paper. I forgot last week to give away the person that guessed the closest weight. So I need to find out here where. Okay, here it is. Okay, for the state championship last weekend, total weight for the boater was 32 pounds. And the co-angler was 23. So 32 and 23. Who had the closest to that? 22 and 33. 32 and 23. Well, I'm gonna give it to Dean Barnhart. He had 37 and 24. So that's the closest. Rusty had 38 and 25, but 37 and 24 is still closer to that. Steve had 38, 32. Mike had 26 and 12. Lisa had 25 and 14. And Charlie Newsing had 23 and 17. So, Dean, you get you another bag of baits. I'll get with Mike and get the baits, and we'll get them to you. That was for the closest numbers that we done for the state championship last week. So, guys, I'll tell you another thing. I'm going to touch base with just a little bit. I don't like to talk about it, bring it up, but I'm going to. And fish care. Guys, I'm going to do a little testing on this fish care stuff because I had ice in my live well. I put 2 fish in the live well and put it on auto. When I got 5 fish, I switched it completely to okay, Dean, I will. Dean said donate his baits to the kids this weekend, so I will do that, Dean. But I lost 2 fish, guys. I had 1301 total, and I went down to 12.9 because I had lost 2 fish. And like I said, I run all aerators. I had ice in the live well. I put G juice in the live well. I done everything I was supposed to do to keep them alive. And the only thing that I did that I think that's affected it, and I'm going to do some testing on it, is I used call tags. And I think that the call tags are not letting the fish close their mouth and breathe right. So I'm going to try the clip-on tags that you put on their fins. That way they don't have something in their mouth where they can close their mouth and breathe like they're supposed to, especially when it's this hot. Let's see, hope you and everyone had a great weekend on the water. I'm off to Pennsylvania for a national kayak tournament on Susky, big smallies, and lots of them. Tight lines to everyone hitting the water this weekend. And it says the second RCO is hosting a kayak tournament next weekend, the 17th. Okay, Dustin, be careful, drive safe, and good luck up there, bud. Put some pictures on Facebook. I know you really like catching them smallmouth out of that kayak. I seen a thing today that I've always wanted to do, and that's kayak down the river, set up camp overnight, and then kayak on down the river fishing the next day. I might try that sometime. That'd be fun to do. But yeah, I think that the call things are uh, uh, costing the fish not to be able to breathe right. Hey, and George, that's how I clean my live well, with white vinegar and peroxide, and run it through. Yeah, I run it through the aerator and everything. Now that's it's getting time to do that again, but I just my co-angler had two fish on the other side, and he didn't have no problem. But I only had two fish. I had five in there, and I was digging through them and pulling them out to see which one's the smallest and all that a couple times. Now, two of my keepers, after I had five, I was like, 14.5 inch fish ain't doing me no good, and I just threw it back. But I'm gonna try them call things and see if that helps me. Yeah, it wasn't too cool, Russ or Terry. Yeah, it wasn't too cool. No, George, I didn't do the. I did, but I don't do a lot of the recirculate your water to keep pumping in fresh water, because if you do that, then it runs out all the cool water of the ice that you just had in there, and all your G juice, because it'll all circulate out and go out the overflow by running in fresh water. But I honestly think it's them call tags. I'm gonna try it and see. I'll keep you guys updated. Well, let's go ahead and get this trivia question. We got quite a few on here watching right now, and well, I still got 30 more minutes before my pot pie is ready. Uh, but I got cantaloupe to cut up yet and peel, and I think I'm gonna slice me up a tomato too. Sounds like a good dinner: pot pie, cantaloupe, and tomatoes. Tim, the ice come from a gas station. You might have a point there. The chlorine, but everybody puts ice in their live wells. Trivia question. Okay, this is a two-part question. Okay, here it is. You ready? What was Tom Mann's job? What was Tom Mann's job where he became a lure designer and a professional fisherman? This is before he became a lure designer and a professional fisherman. And the who was the famous tail spinner Little George named for? Okay, what job did Tom Mann have before he became a lure designer and a professional fisherman? And who was the famous tail spinner Little George named for? Everybody's on Google. Well, Kirby, Google it. Tim, yeah, it could be that maybe it's I don't think the chlorine, because I only put like a half a bag in each one of them. And like I said, I had the same ice in the co-angler side, and he didn't lose his. Travis 6. Boy, he's right on it tonight. He must have had Misty must have doing the Googling for him. The question was, what was Tom Mann's job before he became a lure designer and a professional fisherman? That was a game warden. And who was the famous tailspin Little George named for? And the answer was a wildlife officer in Alabama. Oh, no, he was a wildlife officer in Alabama, and George Wallace. And George Wallace was the governor of Alabama, and he named that tailspin after him. Oh, Misty said I didn't help him this week. Well, now I got to bring Billy's and your baits to your house and drop them off. Unless you're going to be, are you guys going to be here Wednesday night? Oh, I got my boat back in, I almost said back in Ohio, but it's been in Ohio for 3 weeks, just ain't been here. Tell me a text message here, Travis, if you're going to fish. Hopefully be there. Okay, I'll put the baits up here upstairs, and I'll bring them with me, and I'll give Billy his too. Well, guys, once again, I've had a bunch of people on here, and all club members. We have a meeting this coming Thursday at 6:30 at Lucky's. We will be in the regular restaurant area, not in the back room. We'll be up front. So 6:30 this Thursday night at Lucky's. We'll be having our club meeting, and I'll be getting everybody set around for the semi-nationals, so we can get the boaters and the co-anglers from the club sent in to the semi-nationals. So we got a pretty good bunch of guys out of the club that's qualified for semi-nationals. I think we got, let's see, I think we got 10 guys, 10, 11 guys going out of our club to semi-nationals. So it'll be a good weekend up there. We're staying at Marlou's. I've got a house and the apartment for us. So we'll stay at Marlou's, and we'll have a fun weekend up there, guys. So that's the second week of October. And any other clubs out there that's federated, guys, get your figure out who you're going to be sending from your clubs, and let me and Steve know so we can start getting the invitations set up to be sent out. I'll keep you more informed on that. But and it'll be curious to see how many smallmouth compared to this last one, to this, how much it changes being in October. The water will be a lot different, a lot cooler, and but I don't think I'll chase smallmouth again. I got one spot I might go out and try, but I might take a long boat ride for some largemouth. Also, guys, I got Fisher shirt on. She just designed a jersey for the Ohio Bass Federation. Get on Facebook and check it out. She posted it today. She designed it for Steve Calder. It is a very, very sharp shirt. She's going to be working on designing me one. I'm going to have one with all my sponsors and everything on it for long. So, but guys, another good week. It's going to be hot. Stay hydrated. Like I said, this weekend we're running guns at CJ Brown. I'm not looking forward to that place. But then we leave there and go right on up to Lake Erie for the high school tournament. So the high school kids, I think they'll really have an enjoyable time up there. But guys, I appreciate it. And until next week, stay cool. That's what my dad always says. Stay cool. I'll see you next week.